Hi, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Karen Odd, and these are Karen's Oddities. I had a request to do a video regarding my home buying process, and I will do a video regarding that. However, I felt like in order for me to do a video regarding my home buying process, I really had to focus on what helped me focus on my home buying goal, which was also a list of it was also on my list of videos that I wanted to do. So back in July of 2022, which was last summer, I decided that I wanted to go on a healing journey, a self-healing journey. And I know that that means different things for different people. So I decided in July of 2022 that I wanted to give up a couple of things. I wanted to give up social media, alcohol, pornography, sex. I feel like there was something else. Maybe those are the only things. And I wanted to give up fast food and just like eating out, just doing things that were not healthy for me. These were kind of like the 5 things that I wanted to give up. So alcohol, pornography, sex, social media, and fast food. Those were the things, right? What prompted it? I can't really say I remember exactly what prompted it. I know that I don't know, I had this feeling that I needed to free myself from a lot of the things that were distracting me, to free myself from a lot of the things that were draining me, that were taking my energy. And I knew that I had a lot of goals and things I wanted to focus on, but I needed to be disciplined. And in order to be disciplined, I knew that I had to eliminate a lot of things inside of my life in order to be disciplined to work towards those other things that I wanted. I love challenging myself. I love trying to discipline myself to give up these things. And mind you, these 5 things are not easy to give up. One, they're not easy to give up because they're pleasures of mine. And 2, they're not easy to give up when you're trying to give up all of these things at once. But I knew that if I stuck to it, I would be able to do it. And of course, I'm not perfect. I failed a couple of times. Then I went back and started over, etc., until I was solid and I was doing them consistently. So that's when I started my notebook, which I don't have with me right now. It's usually right here at my coffee table, but I put it in my office. That's when I started using that notebook that I reference in a lot of my videos. I decided, day 1, I'm going to write what my goals are, literally outline all of my goals. And I'm going to use this journal to document this process. I'm going to use this journal to talk about when it's difficult, when I've backtracked, when I've fallen off of some of those goals, what I'm doing to work towards those goals, why I want those goals, some of the dreams that I'm having while I'm working towards these goals, some of the struggles that I'm having while I'm eliminating these things from my life. I think the first one was social media. So I got off of Instagram. Instagram was really the only form of social media that I had. And the reason that I got off of it, again, it was a distraction. It was literally a distraction. Not only was it a distraction in terms of the content that I was seeing on there, you could just spend hours and hours scrolling and scrolling. It was a distraction in the sense that I often felt the desire, need, and want to post on there. I want to post on my story. I want to get the likes. I want to get the attention. I want to get the messages. I want to post on my page. I want to get the likes. I want to get the followers. Like, I wanted all of that. And on top of that, when I'm posting, I'm getting messages. I'm getting messages from people that I connected with back in the past, people from my past, people that I don't know that want to reach out, that want to connect with me. I'm getting the attention and the quote unquote validation that I felt that I needed, or that I feel that I need sometimes, because I'm still not liberated entirely from it. Right now, I'm not on Instagram because I'm trying to restart this journey that I'm talking through that I did back in 2022. but I'm having some hurdles restarting, but I know I'll get to it just like I did the first time. So Instagram was the first thing I said. I'm going to get off of Instagram and I'm going to try to do, I would often do like a 1 week streak or a 2 week streak. But this time I said, I want to do 6 months. I want to do 6 months and I really want to focus on some of my goals, and I'm not going to reward myself with this distraction until I accomplish this goal that I have on my list. That goal was home ownership. That was one of the goals on that list. I have other goals on that list, but that was the main one. I said, once I find my home, I will reward myself by returning to social media. So social media was the very first thing that I decided I needed to disconnect from and I needed to get out of my life. And another reason, separate from the distraction, as I described, such as wanting to post, responding to messages, etc., it was a distraction in work. Like in my work day, like whether I work from home or in office, I constantly want to check. I want to see who's messaging me. I want to see who's following me. I want to see who's requesting me. I want to see who's commenting on my stuff. I want to see how many likes I have. It's addicting. Social media is addicting. Hey, baby. And I know it's addicting for different people in different ways, but it was addicting for me. And I recognize that. And I'm like, screw this. Like, I'm not going to let this fictional, well, it's not fictional, but in some ways it's like unrealistic item dictate how I spend my time and what I invest my time and energy into. So I wanted to free myself from that. I love Instagram. I want to be really clear. I love Instagram. I love connecting with people. I love being able to connect with people from all over the world. I've made a lot of connections on there, people in the UK and Africa, all over Morocco. Like I connected with some random people, and some of it is just, it's wild, but it's fun. You know what I mean? I love connecting with people. I love posting. I love bonding over memes and funny things like that. Not the point. So Instagram was the first thing. The second thing was pornography, right? Pornography and sex. I'll lump those together. Jack is like wrapped up in this blanket I have here. I wanted to, and some people are like, why would you want to give up sex? Like, that's like the best thing in the world. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's not about punishing myself, because that's not what I was doing. What I was doing was pushing myself to be disciplined, pushing myself to be okay with giving up things that I love, things that feel good, understanding that I do not need these things. So pushing myself to live a life temporarily without these things that bring me pleasure, because I can. And because when you eliminate those things that come easy to you and those things that bring you pleasure, it does so much, right? It forces you to focus only what's there. It forces you to focus on yourself. It forces you to focus your concentration, your thinking, okay? When you're thinking about sex, social media, alcohol, partying, what have you, you are distracted. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of energy and people coming towards you, coming to you, and it's steering you away from the bigger picture. So I said pornography because I know that when people abstain from reaching orgasm, not that you can't reach an orgasm outside of pornography or sex, but for me, abstaining from pornography and sex was me eliminating, again, that immediate satisfaction, immediate gratification. Eliminating that from my life was allowing me to have some sense of like mental clarity. And when I do these healing journeys / cleanses, I want to challenge myself. I want to see, how long are you able to go without these things? Are you dependent on these things? Are you addicted to these things? Do you need these things? I want to challenge myself. And I think that it's important for us to take time to challenge ourselves. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to kill you to give up online presence. It's not going to kill you to give up sex. It's not going to kill you to give up pornography. It's not going to kill you to give up alcohol. It's actually going to help you. It's going to help you clear your mind from the poop that you have like in your mind that's like just like just a bunch of shit you got up in your mind, okay? Another thing about social media, and I know I'm backtracking because I didn't really plan out having this discussion this evening with you guys about this, but with social media, the other thing is the content on there, okay? And the quality of the content is just, it wasn't it. And maybe it was the content appearing to me, but the content just was not helpful to me. It was not nourishing to my mind, to my growth, to my soul. It wasn't. Like the shit that was coming up were memes, sexualized things. I wasn't learning from it. It wasn't helping me achieve a career goal. It wasn't teaching me something new culturally. It wasn't teaching me new vocabulary. It was just trash. I mean, it was trash content that I was taking in. And I'm just like, this is not it. You know what I mean? So pornography and sex, the pornography is an individual thing that I would seek, right? That would give me some sort of gratification when I would engage in it, whatever, reach orgasm. There was that instant gratification. And the sex is even deeper than that, right? Because you're not, at this point with sex, you're not just doing something on your own, you're actually engaging another human being. But for me, the human being or beings, depending on what time of my life it was that I was engaging in sex with, they weren't bad people, but they weren't really great people either. You know what I mean? Like, again, I'm not learning anything. They're not adding value to my life. They're not helping me reach a goal, reach a milestone. I'm not taking anything from it, but they're taking from me when we're engaging in the activity. So it's just like, you got to cut the porn and you got to cut the sex. You just have to. You just have to. And I didn't die. I'm here to say you could survive without doing porn or sex. It is possible. Is it difficult? Absolutely. But the longer you refrain from it, the easier it becomes because your mind stops being focused when you start to acknowledge, I'm not getting this right now because of X, Y, and Z, or I'm doing this because of X, Y, and Z. I'm not saying that anyone that decides to go on this healing journey has to necessarily have some type of outcome or reward tied to it, but I am saying it helps you. It helps you be focused on that North Star. Why am I doing this, right? Like I'm giving these things up because I want to improve my mental health. I'm giving these things up because I want to focus on my career. I want to return to school. I want to see how strong I am. I want to break free from these addictions or codependencies that I have. If you tie it to something like that of value, it will make your journey easier because it's difficult. It's difficult. And I'm going to tell you, I don't have my notebook with me, but I remember on like day 3, literally line is like something like, I failed today. Like I did this and I wasn't supposed to. And you write about it. It's a process. It's not like you decide to give something up and immediately you're great at it. You know what I mean? It's going to be a process. So there was social media, there was porn, there was sex, and there was alcohol. So alcohol, as we know, it clouds your judgment, right? It's not a substance that has any benefit. It can have long-term effects on our health. It can lead to cancer. It can lead to high blood pressure, heart disease, bloating, liver damage, kidney damage. It can lead to failed organs. It impairs your judgment, impairs your mental state, your cognitive abilities. It slowly decreases your cognitive abilities. It's risky when you're drinking and you're driving, all of these things, right? You make riskier choices when you've been drinking. So alcohol was something that I knew had to be a part of this as well. I couldn't just give up X, Y, and Z, but not do A, B, C, D or whatever. I couldn't not do the alcohol and do everything else. So for alcohol, that was one that I wanted to give up as well. And that I did for a period of like 6 to 7 months. That one, again, it's also difficult. They're all freaking difficult, especially if they're things you've been doing regularly, but for me it was difficult because I'm a social drinker. I go out with my friends, we want to have a drink, people are buzzed or buzzing and feeling jolly, and I'm just like, I'm a reserved person. So sometimes it's helpful for me to have that drink because it helps get me out of my shell. But alcohol, again, it's something that I knew I needed to do because it was going to help me. What else was it? So it was social media, pornography, fast food. I think that was the fifth one. That was just for my health, right? I knew that I had a habit of eating fast foods, eating things that weren't necessarily healthy for me. And I've always struggled with my weight, right? I have certain target goal weights that I want to keep. So I said, let's cut this out as well. And let's, eat cleaner. Let's drink more water versus the alcohol. Let's not feel the need to engage in sexual activity or automatically satisfy the desire or gratification for an orgasm when you feel the desire for it. Let's eliminate social media and just be on the down low, right? Live your life privately where you're not necessarily sharing what you're doing. People don't know where you are, where you went, who you're hanging out with, what you're doing. Live under the radar. It's a peaceful, beautiful thing. Privacy is a luxury, right? To not have people know who you are, who you're dating, where you are, what you're doing, it's a beautiful thing. So prior to my home buying journey, that was what I decided. I decided to go on a self-healing journey, and I decided to give up these 5 items so that I could focus. I needed to focus. I still have a lot of goals I am working towards and I'm working towards accomplishing, but home ownership was one of my biggest ones. And I said, I have a video on this of sex was my reward when I closed on my home. I have a video, which it kind of goes off the wall. They talk about other things, but I told myself, you will not engage in sex until you close on a home. That's what I said. I also told myself, if you do not find a home, I think I gave myself like 4 months because I started my home search in June. I did. So June to July, August. Yeah, I gave myself 4 months. I started in June. I said, if you don't find a home by October of 2022, I said, you need to start looking to move to Chicago. Because I love Chicago. I'm like, you need to start looking for opportunities in Chicago. So I like setting these like random, don't make sense rules for myself. Where I'm like, okay, if I don't find anything by October, I'm moving to Chicago. And I started looking at houses in Chicago. I started looking at condos and apartments in Chicago. But I knew that universe, God, spirit, I was going to end up wherever I'm supposed to be. If I'm supposed to be in the state that I'm in, I'm going to end up there. If I'm supposed to be in Chicago, I'm going to end up in Chicago. And even now, I'm in the state that I am now. But if I'm supposed to be in Chicago, I will get to Chicago. You know what I mean? I truly, firmly believe that we all have a final destination. We have a route. We have a journey. We have people along our path that we're supposed to connect with in different moments. We have different experiences that we're all supposed to have, whether they are good experiences or bad experiences. I truly, truly, and I will die on this cross, believe that that is the truth. Because I've seen it. I've experienced it, right? Where it's like, I try so hard to like force things to be a certain way, but at the end of the day, it's not up to me. It's not up to any of us to pick our outcome. Our outcome is there. We're just on the journey. We're just on the journey of our lives, and we can be great people. We can be shitty people along the way. And the way that we are is essentially going to impact how pleasant or negative our experiences are. So this is part 1 to my home buyer experience. I think the very first thing that one needs to do is make the decision. If that's something that's a goal of yours, then make the decision to commit to that goal, to decide this is what I want to do. And I would also encourage you, take that extra step and say, you know what? I want to buy a home by this date. And because of that, I'm going to cut back on X, Y, and Z. I promise you that if you commit to eliminating some things to focus on whatever goal it is you have, the elimination of those distractions is going to push you so much further than you could ever imagine. Okay, so I'm going to leave it here. I will do a video. I will try to do one this week regarding my home buying experience and what I did from beginning to end, how it was. It may have to be a part 2 video, although I feel like my process happened quickly. I started in June. I found a house in 4 months, but I was also very, very dedicated. I was very committed. I was very intentional. I knew exactly what I wanted. And I think that when you add those, mix that in the pot, it's going to be quick. When you're sure of what you want and when you're determined, what you want comes to you quickly. Okay? That's also super important, but I'll talk more about that in my home ownership process video. Like I said, it might be a 2-parter depending on how quickly I can like squeeze it into a video. I don't want to have long videos. I know nobody likes sitting through long videos, but this is kind of like an introduction to my healing journey. I'm trying to do it again. I'm trying to do it as we speak. I got off of Instagram March 31st. Next, I'm tapering off of alcohol. I did have a drink yesterday. I met with some friends. But the alcohol is next. I'm going to give off the sex thing, give off the pornography, and just eat cleaner, right? But in this time around, I do want to focus more on meditating. I have taken time to meditate in the past when I was doing these healing journeys, and meditation just like, it will elevate your growth, self-awareness, and just like life to a whole other level. If you add in all of those things, like meditation is extremely, extremely powerful. There's still a lot I have not learned about it, but I can attest that when I have done it and when I've done it consistently, it is literally life-changing. But I'm going to stop this video here because it's getting a little bit long. But I appreciate you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.